Welcome, Juna, to the channel. It is so nice to have you on.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Nice to
awesome.
be here.
Juna is just a wealth of knowledge. I do say that about almost every guest I've
Oh,
had here, but it's so true
it's
because
true.
there's so much knowledge to share in the world of print on demand
Mhm.
and all the platforms we can sell on. For those who don't know Juna, Juna is a widely successful Amazon merch seller. I didn't even know how successful you were with Amazon merch until
Yeah.
talking to you today. And for those who don't know, we do have a interview and a video about the top 5 products
Mhm.
with Printify on his
Mhm.
channel. So I'll link that below as well, where I shared a lot of really profitable products that you can sell and create for with Printify and Print on Demand. So highly recommend checking that out down below after this or during this, before this, whenever works. But Juna is super successful on Amazon merch, and you just share so much on your YouTube with
Mhm.
free, valuable content for new sellers and new entrepreneurs. So, with that being said, I just wanted to have my audience get to know you a little bit more
Right.
and ask, how in the world did you discover print on demand?
Yeah.
What got you here, and what was your journey?
I started print on demand back in 2005. Long time ago, as far as print on demand goes, anyway. I started with Cafe Press, and the reason why I started print on demand is I started with my business partner. We both worked at the same company, and we decided we wanted to do something on the side. We wanted to do like a side hustle, and what we were doing is we were building websites for people. So not necessarily print on demand, but that wasn't taking off as well. And so we were trying to look for other things to kind of supplement the website building gig, the business. And so my business partner actually found he knew I loved t-shirts, and he found that you can actually design and sell t-shirts online through Cafe Press at the time. And so we signed up and we made a few t-shirts, and I loved it. I loved designing t-shirts. I used to design t-shirts as a teenager, just on the side, just doodling and stuff. And I actually submitted t-shirt designs to like back in the day before print on demand. You had to draw it manually and kind of mail it in to t-shirt places. And I actually got one in. So I've designed t-shirts even before print on demand. So I just love doing that. Fast forward a little bit. Once we started getting that rolling and started seeing an income, I just went all in, and I decided to keep making lots and lots of t-shirts. I signed up for Cafe Press first, then Zazzle, and I can't remember who was third or fourth, but I actually got on Spreadshirt at the time and so on, and just added more and more products every year. And I loved it so much that I designed on the weekends and kept adding more and more. And so I had a lot of designs under my belt by the time I started Amazon Merch on Demand. At the time, it was called Amazon Merch on Demand. Wait, what was it called before? It's right back here, right?
Yeah.
Merch by Amazon. There it
Oh, yeah.
is. It
Yep.
was called Merch by Amazon at the time in 2017. I signed up. Actually, what was really interesting, and I don't share this a lot, but from Cafe Press, I got to, meet a lot of people and network with them. And that's actually how I found out about Merch by Amazon, is through a friend I made through Cafe Press at the
Wow.
time. And so they said, "Hey, there's this new thing. Amazon's starting. You got to get on this. Better than Cafe Press, blah, blah, blah." And he was right. And so I've been doing Cafe Press since 2017. It's just been amazing. Amazon's been a great partner. They know what they're doing there, and people trust Amazon. And so it's really nice. It's one of the best print on demand, in my opinion, and one of the best to scale stuff, because Amazon can handle all that stuff right there. I think they actually want you to put as many designs as you can on Amazon because they can handle it. So that's kind of my journey to where I am now. I've been doing Amazon since 2017. I do some of the other ones, but Amazon by far is my biggest print on demand site that I do. So
Wow, that's amazing. So you're still selling on Cafe Press
yeah,
in all of them, but your number one so far, as like success wise,
yeah.
is Amazon.
Oh, by far. In fact, it's more than all the other ones combined.
Wow. If you mind sharing with the audience, but how much are you making monthly, and how does that fluctuate throughout the year with
Yeah.
Amazon?
Yeah. So right now I've been on it for 2017. So that's 3 and 3. That's like 6 years now. So now I make about 8 to 10 thousand a month on Amazon, and when it's Q4, then I make more. So in this month, I'll probably make about 17,000 in October. So
That's incredible, and for those who don't know, guys, that's straight profits, and
That's
so
profit, not revenue.
Amazon yeah.
That's not Amazon's cut. That's my cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
because that's I guess that's the huge difference with Etsy and print on
Mhm.
demand is every shop is so different. You can only estimate their
Mhm.
profit. You don't really know what the exact profit margins are
Yeah.
because you don't know if that seller is having a team, if they have like their a
Mhm.
VA or their production fees, what production company they're using. But
Yeah.
with Amazon, they already kind of figure that out for you, right? They give you only the profit. So
Yeah, and you can raise your prices. Like, they have a kind of a base price, and you raise it, and so I usually price my T-shirts, and I sell mostly T-shirts out of all the products. They have more than just T-shirts, but T-shirts are by far my best-selling product, and I usually price it at 20.99, which gives me about a $5 and something cents profit per shirt. So,
wow,
you
that's
sell three three
incredible.
hundred shirts, you get a month, that would be a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So I know with Etsy, we talk a lot about listings. Is that what
Mhm.
they call it on Amazon? And I'm so sorry. I am so,
I don't know if it's called a listing. I think so. I
yeah.
guess it is a listing. So each one is a different is their own product. Within that listing, you can choose the size and the colors, but it's usually just the product. So that's usually just the t-shirt or just the sweatshirt or whatever it is. So each listing, each ASIN has its own thing. So
Yeah. Wow. That is so awesome and so
Mhm.
cool. And how many listings would you say did you create until you started seeing that high profit month?
Yeah. So I add more and more. So on Amazon, you can just keep pushing it on there. So now I'm on tier 100,000, which means I can add up to 100,000 different designs. But right now I only have 12,000 different designs.
Whoa. So
Yeah.
do you upload 1,000 a year then?
I probably upload more than 1,000 a year. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I guess if you have 12,000 out of the 6 years you said you sold, so that's
Mhm.
almost 2,000 a year then is
Uh-huh.
your, like,
Yeah.
output rate.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I've actually been slowing down just because in the first few years, I wasn't doing YouTube, so I had more time to add a lot more products. But and again, a lot of them are just single designs, but some of them are scalable designs. So, for example, you could say, vintage 1973, 1974. You can make 100 of those really quickly. So, adding 1,000, 2,000 a year isn't as hard as you think it might be. I mean, it's still work, but when you scale it, it adds up really quickly. So,
Yeah, wow, that is so amazing, and I know, like, they have the tiered system with
Mhm.
Amazon. Would you say that it's harder to tier up basically now, or, like, is
For
it
me, yeah,
yeah.
for me, because now they used to. So what they used to do is make the tiers per not product, but per upload. And so with one design, you could get 66 uploads, right? And so that would scale up really quickly. Now you actually have to have the designs. They changed it a little bit. So to get out of tier 100,000, you only used to have 100,000 uploads, which I've passed uploads because if you times 12,000 times 66, right? Way more. But now they're saying, okay, to get out of tier 100,000, you have to have 100,000 individual designs, which is that's going to take me a while. Hopefully, I can do it. But
Wow.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter really. I mean, the tier system is great in the beginning, but I have more than enough slots to. I can upload up to 10,000 designs a day. That's how crazy Amazon is. It doesn't. There's really like no limit. If that's not enough for you, then you probably need to get to the next tier, right? So
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say it almost it reminds me of a video game and,
Huh.
like, just how you have to get to the next level. It's like,
Right.
"Oh, if I defeat the boss at this level, and then I get to the next one." Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
they kinda gamified it. Amazon kinda gamified it. So, yeah, it's been really fun that way to see it and watch it grow.
yeah, that's amazing. So out of the 12,000 listings,
Mhm.
what number were you at when you started to break, like, over maybe $1,000 a month in
Oh, that's a
profit?
great question. I think by the time I had 5,000 listings, I was probably making $1,000 dollars a month. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That I can understand that. Etsy and Amazon are a little bit difficult to compare to a degree,
Mhm.
but dependent on how you're creating listings, I know for Etsy, so to speak, like some sellers, it takes them a few thousand listings until they
Yeah.
start to break into higher profit margins and
Yeah.
higher profit per month. But then there's other sellers that somehow, they upload a few listings and it's like, wow, like first bestseller right off, you
Mhm.
know, out of the gate or something. But
Yeah.
for Amazon, it sounds like, would you say that the competition's really high, or and that's
Oh,
why you
yeah.
need to upload so much?
Yeah, and you learn as you go, right? Like, it's not just about the number of uploading. The number is gonna vary for different people, like you just said, right? Some people hit it right away, some people don't. And honestly, I don't know if it was 5,000 or not, but I'm just saying that because it does take a lot to kinda learn what works and what doesn't work on Amazon. So, yes, there's a lot of competition, but honestly, the competition is kinda just trying to copy each other. And so if you can stand out from the competition, do something different, do something that the people want, learn what people like to see on Amazon, learn what the Amazon audience and what they like how do they like to buy, what kind of designs do well on there. I think that comes with designing a lot and comes with uploading and learning and getting some details, because the way you're going to learn what works is you're going to upload a lot, and then you're going to get a lot of feedback by people not buying your stuff, but you're going to get a lot of feedback by some people buying your stuff, and then you can say, okay, this worked, now how do I change it and just make it a little better, or this worked, and so on. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of my strategy.
Yeah, that's good to know. This is really inspiring me to start an Amazon merch account.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tried in the past. I applied and I never got accepted. And that's how I
Yeah.
got into Etsy, because I was just
Hmm.
like, well, I'm not accepted, so might as
Hmm.
well do the next thing. So,
Yeah, it's kind of a lucky thing. Like, I just did an interview too with a coworker, and he's a great designer, and he can't get into. So it's like I feel like it's just luck to get in. Like, people ask me, "What's the secret to get in?" Well, I got in early, so I got lucky. But I think it's lucky too, as well. Like, in this time, like, I think people still get in, but it's not like because they're the best designer or because they don't know what they're doing or whatever. I think Amazon probably has a quota. They don't say this, but my guess is they probably can only let in 50 new designers every month or whatever. And then if you're one of their top 50, then they pick you. Not top, but if you're one of the 50 that they pick, then you're in. And if you're not, then you got to try again, right? Something like that. So.
yeah, that makes sense if it were an application process,
Hmm.
because I know just for third-party platform, it must be difficult when you
Hmm.
have too many sellers where
Yeah.
you can't like monitor it anymore. What we're seeing with Etsy recently and deactivations, I mean, it's all
Hmm.
hypotheses on what's going on, but
Hmm.
I know in third party platforms, it's either they have to create a system that can
Hmm.
auto suspend shops
Yeah.
on, violations, because third party platforms get hit with big
Hmm.
fees if they
Oh,
get,
man.
yeah. So it's like that the regulation, it's either they have to moderate or regulate as far as how many people can get in. And it's interesting that Amazon probably does that, because if they opened it to everyone, then a lot of more people
Yeah.
would be selling, you'd think. So
Yep.
that's really interesting. For those who don't know, Juna does work a 9 to 5 with this. And I feel like I've never like asked you on a personal basis, Juna. I'm
Uh-huh.
so sorry, but do you have a family or
Yes.
okay, that's what I thought. I didn't want to
Uh-huh.
like assume, but I thought you had a family. So I'm like, how does Juna do all of this? Because you're uploading every other day on YouTube. You're giving so much free value away
Mhm.
online. And then also on top of that, you have your Shopify store, the
Mhm.
detourshirts.com, you're doing Amazon and all
Mhm.
of these other platforms.
Mhm.
How do you find time to do all of this?
So, yeah, that's a great question. I think there's two things that really help me. First is I get up really early, 5:30 in the morning, before my 9 to 5. From 5:30 to about 8, I do as much as I can. So that could either mean editing a video or recording a video or uploading designs or whatever it is. I just pick, like, these are the things I'm going to work on before work, and I try to check them off. And then after work, I get off around 6 to about 10:30. I try to get to bed by 10:30 so that I can get up at 5:30. And so I try to do as much in between that time as well. If there's anything that needs to be done that day, there's always stuff to do. But, that's kind of my game plan. And of course, you got to work in family time and stuff like that. So there's that. And the second thing is that I'm actually really older, a lot older. So I have kids that are adults already. So I don't have to, go to the high school thing, or do the football game, or things like that. So it's just my wife and I, and the kids are older, so I kind of have a lot more free time than someone that is kind of trying to raise kids and things like that. So.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing, because I know a lot of my subscribers and followers, and I'm sure you have the same, where there's a lot of people following our content. And it's like the biggest issue for most people. I mean, even for me, and I don't even
Mhm.
have kids, I have a dog, and that's enough right now. And
Yeah.
before that, when I was working full time, I was working 12-hour shifts. I was on call
Oh,
at the
there you go.
hospital. But even then, I kept making like this idea in my head that, oh, I can't make this work because I'm
Hmm.
working too much. But there's always a way to kind of fit it into your
Yeah.
schedule if you find passion in it. Like Juna, you seem like you're really passionate about
Yeah. I
t-shirts,
love
but
it. I
yeah,
love it.
I love to hear that. Like, that's
Yeah.
so cool. It sounds like almost it's your hobby basically that
Mhm.
turned into a really profitable business.
And I don't get much TV time. I don't watch a lot of TV, so that helped too.
Yeah. Do you like watching TV or you rather be creative?
I actually rather be creative. There's some TV shows that I watch, every once in a while, on Disney or something like maybe a series of Mandalorian or here or there or something. But yeah, I don't have like a daily thing that I watch TV. So
I feel like that's how I need to be. Like if I swap my TV time for and I used to do that like
yeah,
when I was working in healthcare, I would
right.
like I'd be like, okay, I can't watch my TV show, or
Yeah,
I'd put it on and just like do work as I'm like
at the same
watching.
time.
Yeah. But that's probably a bad habit because it never felt like I was relaxing, but it also didn't feel like I was being productive. So, my next question is
Uh-huh,
for your listings and products
uh-huh.
that you design for on Amazon, is it mainly seasonal or would you say they sell all year round
Yeah,
primarily?
that's a great question. So Q4 is kind of the big time for me. I definitely sell a lot of Halloween stuff. So October is a really big month for me, and everything sells, during Thanksgiving and Christmas, even the evergreen stuff. So I like to say I do a lot of evergreen. If you looked at my catalog of designs, most of it is probably evergreen, but the ones that sell the most and give me the most profit are doing these times, the Halloween and the Christmas and Thanksgiving. So it's kind of a mixed match. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I guess I have mostly evergreen. Like this corgi right here is pretty evergreen. I'm not doing it for like a ramen holiday or something like that. So yeah, so most of my stuff is evergreen, I would say.
Wow, that's so awesome. And that's so cool that you have primarily evergreen because I know that's a lot of people's questions when they go
Mhm.
into print on demand of any platform. It's like, oh, do I get in and immediately trace the holidays or should I do the items that are going to sell all year round? At least for me, like I try to say mix it up if you
Yeah,
can.
definitely mix it up.
Yeah, I guess my next question is since you've been through quite a bit of holidays now,
Mhm.
what niches would you maybe say are the best that you've been in or at least you've seen on Amazon?
Well, for me, the first one is Halloween costumes. So I have like simple Halloween costumes. So you can go on there on Amazon. I think they do it on Etsy as well, just like t-shirts, like I am a whatever, or a drawing of something, right? I think
Yep.
I have one that like it looks like a strawberry. It's a red shirt that kind of looks like a strawberry would make a
Yeah.
simple Halloween costume. We've seen those. Next one is like funny drinking shirts. I think they do well because of the holidays like Cinco de Mayo, St. Patrick's Day, even Thanksgiving and stuff. You could do some of those funny drinking T-shirts. Make sure not to put it on the youth T-shirts
Oh,
though,
yeah.
on Amazon. Some people, I sometimes I forget to uncheck that, and then I get flagged. Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, it's so bad. Number three, they're not. These are not in any particular order, but number three is like family-related designs. I think do really well. So mom of the or mom this, dad that, right? Those do well, especially during Q4. But they're kind of evergreen as well because I sell them throughout the year and not necessarily only on Mother's Day or only on Father's Day. I've seen a lot of those sell throughout the year. Funny Christmas puns. I think you mentioned this on our interview. So a lot of funny
yep.
Christmas puns do really well during Q4. I sell a lot of those things. That makes up a lot of sales for me. And then occupational gifts. If you think about all the different occupations, there's so many. Nurse ones do really well. Doctors do really well. A lot of those. So do some research. Find out which are the top selling occupational shirts because people buy those for gifts too, right? Because like, what do we buy Joe? Oh, Joe's a doctor. Oh, we should buy him a funny doctor T-shirt or something like that. So it kind of helps with the gift giving and gift buying for people if we know what their occupation is and kind of relate it to that. So those are my five.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing. Those are really great ones. And I think those pretty much align. Like, as far as Etsy goes, I'd say those are pretty similar as far as, like you said, with the funny, punny types of Christmas holiday related things and
Absolutely.
also occupation gifts. Occupation gifts are just so great for the holiday season, but also just all year round.
Yeah, all year round.
Yep. So those are definitely the winners as far as what has crossed over between our interviews, which is
Oh
kind
yeah.
of cool. What I love is that we're doing this interview with a lot of Etsy sellers who
Oh,
want
good.
to look at a second platform. And that's why I'm so happy to have you on here, just for anyone who is on Etsy and it's like, you know what, I like Etsy as a platform, but I don't want
Yeah.
to put all eggs in one basket. I rather do Amazon and then also Etsy, because there is so much crossover with the
Mhm.
two, which is really cool that we have you on today, considering all the success you've had. I just wanted to ask at the very end of this,
Okay.
is there anything that you would like to share with the audience that is maybe new that you're working on,
Okay, yeah.
or
So last year I did speaking of holidays, we talked about holidays and what holidays are popular throughout the year. I did this calendar for 2023. If you go to detourshirts.com on my downloads, it was really popular. People wanted to know, like, what should I be designing this month? For 2 months ahead, and this month. So I'm gonna do another one just like it for 2024, because 23 is ending and the calendar is not going to work anymore. But some of the same information I'm going to put on there. I'm also going to try and do some CSV files for like a list of occupations or a list of animals or a list of, so that you can scale these things. So I did some videos on how you can scale it with some apps on there. I think Canva does it, and there's some other ones on there where you can like put in a word and then download the CVS file, and it will replace the word automatically for you. So you can say, you know, I'm whatever it is, the shirt, and have like doctor there, but then hit the button and then it'll replace it with all the different occupations in your CSV file, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna try and work on those so people can download those really quickly. You could also do it with AI right now and just ask AI what are the top occupations if you want to do that. I'm also doing some more digital downloads, so just look for more digital downloads on there. So that's what I'm working on mainly, just to help people out with print on demand. Yeah.
yeah, that's so awesome. I love all
Mhm.
the content that you just share so openly with anyone who follows you and subscribes. And congrats on your it hitting 100K. I know
Oh, yeah.
that
Back
was
here. Huh, yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was just this year, right?
It was, yeah, just a couple months ago. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, and I'm just so happy that you ended up getting the play button and
Mhm.
everything, and it's so cool to see. Anyways, if anyone has not already, go check out Juna from Detour Shirts. Check out his website where you
Mhm.
can get those digital downloads,
Mhm.
and thank you so much, Juna, for being on my
Of
channel
course.
today.
Yeah, thank you for having me and introducing me to your audience. This is awesome.
Yeah, of course. Well, we will see you all in the next video and hopefully on Juna's interview next
That's
if you
right.
haven't already watched that. So, see you
That's right.
guys.
See you guys. Bye.